Hey guys, Josh here and welcome to the first of quite a few E3 videos. Now, E3 this year, annoyingly, is spread out over about 4 or 5 days. It's normally about 1 or 2. Normally it's like the Monday night they have it, like most of them, and then they have 1 or 2 the next day. This year, because they're making it more consumer friendly, they're letting the public in this time, they've had to spread it out over more days to allow for the public, because the press can deal with running around from conference to conference, whereas public can't, and they have to allow for just more people and that kind of thing, and health and safety and all that. So I guess they just have to spread it out over more days just to let things be easier, smoother, and also just different companies want to do their own thing and they want to be separate, like EA do their own thing differently, which is what the first one is, EA. So like I said, my plan is over the next few days is to do a video for each one as soon as I can after. This is easy because EA happened on Saturday night. I was out actually, my voice is a little bit gravelly, you might notice I did go out drinking and I'm slightly hungover. Apologies for my slight gravelly voice, my throat is really dry, I should have drunk more water, but anyway. So EA was last night, Saturday night, doing that today, and then tonight, well, early hours of the morning, tomorrow, is Bethesda, so I will probably try and get that out tomorrow night maybe. And then basically all the rest of them then in pretty much in one go, so that's going to be a headache to do. So my plan is basically to do one of these every few days over the next week or so, but I want to do like a little sort of review of each one. So we've got EA first. I just watched the EA stream this morning, and I've done some notes, and basically I'm just going to go through it in quite a sort of quick fire way, touching on it. Probably the whole thing's going to be about no more than 10 minutes, just my thoughts and sort of coverage of it, and there's going to be some like little references and some footage as well, you know, back and forward, not just me talking. So EA, of course, they do their EA play thing, they call it now, where they basically they want to be as much as the community as possible, and so they want to have people you know, seeing the games there and then in the conference. So what they've done this year was quite different. Basically, they open with a dance number to start with, trying to be Ubisoft. There's some weird fucking drums shit, which looked fucking bad, and the audience were just, what the fuck? And then of course they showed off Madame Longshot, which is like Madame with story mode. It's like Thief of the Journey. It's just like, oh, great, more of this shit. And then Ken Barbie doll, of course, comes out on stage. He does his normal little introduction stuff, and they show off basically how this time they've got the PCs like in the middle of the audience. They got some PCs with people playing on them, and basically during the conference they walk down, they among these people playing the games, talking about them, and then they show them on the big screen to the audience, and then, you know, obviously on the full screen for people at home. Personally, I think this was a very bad idea. It looks awkward as fuck. Like the audience are just kind of sitting there, half of them aren't even turning back, some of them are having to turn awkwardly, and it just felt really weird. The focus was more on the people at home, which is cool for me, but the whole point of it is, for the people there, must have been bored as shit, just sitting there, hearing someone on the back end of the room talking to a camera was a bit kind of shitty, rather than everything being on the stage and big. The whole point with it was big, it was awesome, and it was kind of professional looking, whereas now they kind of gone for this weird relaxed kind of talking to the camera and more kind of YouTubey community thing, which doesn't quite fit and isn't what E3 is about. Personally, to me, it never was about that. They're trying too hard to be kind of down with the kids kind of, and because of that it didn't feel quite the same. E3 in general this year, I don't think it's going to feel the same because of that kind of public thing they've decided to go with.
What up, guys? Thank you for having me, EA. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Jesse Wellens, and I am a YouTube creator. So I am here to talk about Need for Speed Payback. If you guys didn't know, Need for Speed Payback, yeah, it's a great game. But all right, all set aside, I'm a YouTube creator. Need for Speed Payback, it's coming out. I got my boy Marcus, executive producer here. He is the producer of the game. Thank you, Nick, for having me.
So then they mentioned Battlefront 2. They said how they've listened to feedback a lot. They even said, you know, they've had a lot of criticism. And so, yeah, they've said they listened to that a lot. They touched on that, and they actually show that later on. The first sort of footage they show is Battlefield 1. Bloody hell. And they say there's a revolution. They showed some community stuff. And at this point, it seems like they're trying to be Bungie, because Bungie are very big on community. And at their Destiny 2 reveal about a week or two ago, they showed a massive thing of just the community. And Destiny's community, I think, is what makes Destiny. I follow quite a lot of Destiny YouTubers myself, and there's a real nice community sense of family there, and they want to do that for Battlefield. EA are trying to do that, and it just feels kind of forced. And so, yeah, I'm sure there are some nice communities out there, and fair play to people who are in that. I think communities in gamers are the best thing. So if you're in one of them, I'm not dissing you. I just think EA were trying to force that too much. So they show Battlefield 1 gameplay. There's a DLC, which is in the name of the Tsar. It's basically like you're in Russia on the Eastern Front, snow, that kind of thing. Yeah, looks pretty cool. There's like a women division. Like they said their name, I can't remember now. I'll put it up on the screen, I'll add it in afterwards. But there's like a women's division, because women did fight on the Eastern Front. There's some criticism that people said, oh, Battlefield 1 doesn't have women in it. But to be honest, there weren't women that fought in the First World War, certainly on the Western Front. Eastern Front they did. It was Russia. It was kind of every man and woman fighting. So yeah, they got the women's division. So basically, if you play on those fronts, you get to be a woman. Whether that will balance out with the normal fronts, I'm not with the other fronts. I'm not sure. And then they announced like some new small team modes. Basically, they're like, you want more competitive modes and more close knit kind of stuff, which is cool, but kind of goes against what Battlefield is. The point of Battlefield, it's a battlefield. It's a giant battle with everything. So to suddenly have it really kind of close quarters tactical is a bit kind of like, oh, like yeah. So I don't know how that's going to go, but yeah, I mean, it looks cool. It looks very nice. Snow. I like snow in video games. I've always said that, but I don't think I'll get it. I've got Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1's fun, but I wouldn't say I'm that fussed to get the DLC. Anyway, so then they moved on to sport. Lovely sports. I don't really care about sport that much, so I'm not really going to cover any of it really. Just touch on, they showed some FIFA stuff and that was shit. If you want sport, this isn't the channel for you. I'm not really a sport person. The only sport I do like is tennis and Wimbledon. When Wimbledon on that's the only kind of sport I follow. And if the World Cup's on England playing, which is never long, they don't last long, I'll watch it, but I'm not really a sporty guy. So yeah, that's not, yeah. And I think many people are that bothered about it really. If you are, I'm sorry about that. But basically, there's another FIFA game coming, which there always is. So yeah. Need for Speed Payback, however, which is sport, I suppose, but it's more kind of. They're trying to make it more Fast and Furious this time. It's like an action story thing. They said there was like heists and stuff in like a story mode, and you have different characters you can switch about between, like GTA kind of, like GTA 5. We had the different character system. It's open world, and they really showed off. They had this like cool scene where you're like chasing a truck, and one of the players jumps on top of the truck, gets in, and then you switch to that character, and you're in another car. And it really was actiony kind of, and it felt like Fast and Furious, which is cool, because last time they decided to go with that kind of street racing vibe. This time, which kind of failed, because it was just I don't think it was bad, it just kind of went under the radar, whereas like with Fast and Furious, they're now deciding to go with like an action route. So who knows. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. So then they went on to EA Originals, which is like their indie games kind of focus. I don't know why it's called EA Originals, it's a bit of a weird title, but EA Originals you think was like some kind of retro thing back to old games or something. But anyway, basically they were talking about how they kind of like helping indie developers, which is always cool. They then said about A Way Out, which is like this co-op Prison Break game, which is quite cool. It's from the people who made Brothers Tale of Two Sons, which I never played, but we heard was quite good. And basically, they were making a game anyway. EA contacted them and said, would you want kind of backing? So they gave them the financial backing. So they showed that off, and then they had probably one of the most ignorant kind of cocky guys ever on stage, who even said that himself. He said, I know I'm cocky. He said, this is a game, co-op game, like never before. It's the first of our sort of buzzwords we had, like never before. He said he was cocky about it, and he really was.
They're going to be exploration, driving, action. Also, you won't get tired of this game, I'm telling you. So, but let me tell you this. After you finish playing A Way Out, I will tell you, you will play a co-op game like never before. I know, I mean, I can guarantee that. I know I sound very cocky, but I can't help it because it's true.
Saying I know I'm cocky doesn't make it better in my opinion, but I think he just got excited. He's an indie dev who's now been thrown millions by EA. He's going to be pretty excited when he gets to go on stage, so yeah, fair play to him. It's quite cool. It's a co-op game where basically you do a prison break and then you're trying to survive in the world afterwards with the police after you. It's both characters on screen at once. It's a couch co-op thing. These two carrying characters, I can't remember what their names were, and basically they're kind of different, like there'll be different camera angles, like one of them might be an event, one of them's below, and you have like sort of separate screens on the screen. And there's examples where one character being in a cutscene and can't do much, and then the other character can walk around and you'll see them in the cutscene and that kind of thing, which is quite cool. There's different choices, that kind of thing. So yeah, it looks like quite a nice fun little co-op experience. I never played Brothers. From what I heard, it was cool. So yeah, it might be something I'll check out sometime. Maybe I'll do a little video of it with someone, I don't know. But yeah, it looks quite interesting, quite fun. I might play it sometime, actually. So then they moved on to a little bit of touching on Project Scorpio. They couldn't mention that too much, obviously, because Microsoft, that's probably going to be the focus of Microsoft's conference. They used the words innovative and teraflops. And it's like, oh, here we go. More buzzwords. But they basically just mentioned how the Scorpio allows them to do 4K shit, which I don't know, but we'll see. I don't know what Scorpio's going to be. We'll find out that during Microsoft's conference, won't we? But they couldn't touch on it too much, purely because Microsoft obviously going to do that. So then they mentioned a new IP, BioWare's new IP, which is really interesting. BioWare making a new game. That's not Mass Effect, it's not Dragon Age, it's something completely different. Kind of disappointing because there was no mention of Mass Effect's DLC, which is kind of annoying, but the main focus was new games, so maybe that will happen sometime down the line. They might touch upon that, because I think they still will be a Mass Effect DLC for Andromeda, even though they kind of put the series on hold. I think they will still do it, hopefully. And Dragon Age is just not happening apparently anymore. For the time being, and also Knights of the Republic, which was hinted on a few weeks ago, kind of, there was no mention of that. So BioWare's new IP is called Anthem, and it's like, it looks like Destiny. The very first thing is like the wall from Destiny that keeps like the darkness out of the last city, and then you have some suit like the Master Chief or Doom Guy. It seems there's like beasts in the world, you have to protect them, kind of. It just isn't much about it. They said they're showing more during Microsoft conference, possibly gameplay, which hints it might be an Xbox exclusive or have Xbox exclusive stuff. I don't know, but yeah, nice to see BioWare working on something new. This is their first new IP since Mass Effect, so yeah, it's been a while since they've had a new IP. I don't know what it is. They said it's going to have some online elements, so it might be like kind of like a Destiny type thing with a persistent world, kind of like a half sort of shooter MMO thing, possibly. But yeah, we'll see more of that during Microsoft's conference. What that will be exactly, I don't know. But yeah, I'm interested to see more about that. But I am disappointed that we didn't see any Mass Effect. Then they went on to more sport, NBA shit, and they said that there is a free demo for NBA in August. It's like, free demo? Hang on a minute, aren't demos free anyway? Like, why are you making that such a cool thing? A free demo? Which is a bit of a weird thing. So then Ken Barbie-Doll comes back on stage, and he talks about charity stuff, and he's expecting a round of applause and didn't get it. Quite a funny way.
No? Okay. We donated
so anyway, then they move on to Battlefront 2, and they have probably one of the most patronising hosts ever. They have this actress who's in the game. She's like the main character in the story, and she seems one of the most over-the-top interested people ever, who sounds like she's not interested and yet overly the top interested at the same time.
Hello. I'm Janina Gavankar, and I play Commander Iden Versio, leader of the Inferno Squad in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Skirmish, so I'm going to be cuddling up with someone playing me some Battlefront 2. In multiplayer, There are more heroes, more vehicles, more planets. I've been to some of them. More space.
She says how she's a massive fan, but she doesn't sound like it. So she's really annoying. But anyway, they talk about how there's a story, of course. There's 3 times the content from the first one. There's like deeper customization and progression and space battles and basically all the stuff that should have been in the first one. To be honest, it looks really good. I'm not going to say it's bad. Like, people are like, oh, they're doing another one. I think basically this is Battlefront as it should have been on next gen, or current gen, sorry. And yeah, I think just right off the first one, to be honest, this is just what the first one should have been. It looks quite cool that all 3 eras are in there. They have all these classes, like I said, customization, stuff like that. Rather than, which is the main thing I hated in Battlefront. I never actually bought Battlefront. I played the beta, and that kind of put me off it. Was how like the heroes and the vehicles and shit like that were all kind of like drops that appeared on the map, and you had to go to them and pick them up, which meant kind of people were always grabbing them, so sometimes you'd never get a chance to use them. And it was kind of annoying because in the original Battlefront games, like the vehicles were just there like Battlefield, and anyone could jump in them, and there was always a few of them, whereas in Battlefront, the recent one, there wasn't. This one, they've changed the system, so basically when you're getting kills and stuff, you earn Battlefront points basically, and basically you can use these points after a while in the game. When you have enough of them, you can buy heroes to use. You can have Yoda, Darth Maul, Rey, Kylo Ren, Boba Fett, probably some other ones, Palpatine, I don't know, Obi-Wan, whatever. You can buy them characters to use them, or you can buy vehicles, you can buy tanks, AT-STs, all that kind of shit. X-Wings and everything like that, which is really cool. You buy with points, so basically you can just save up and buy them and use them and there and then it's yours. You ain't got to worry about someone else going and grabbing it. So that's quite cool. I think it's a better system and makes it more fun. Obviously because it has space battles now. Maybe in the space battles you have ships anyway, I don't know, because I remember the space battles were really fun in the original Battlefront games. You had like, there was like 2 ships, enemy ships in space with the docks, and basically you had all the ships in the docks and you could go to the other ship and you fought in space, or you can fly in the ship and try and take out the core inside. Maybe that's what they're doing this one, hopefully. It'll be pretty interesting. What's quite cool is that they got the community. Again, they kind of focus on community a little bit too much maybe, but they got the community to help them actually kind of do testing on the game and help them, you know, want to know what they wanted, which is quite cool. They're listening and they want a bit of input. They got them to actually make the trailer, like they got them to do gameplay, and then that was using the trailer, which looked pretty cool. Epic Star Wars music showing battles. It shows Yoda fighting Darth Maul on feed, which is crazy but really cool. And there was quite a cool bit when they had like the Falcon and it was being escorted by X-Wings, so maybe that's kind of like a multiplayer mode where you have to escort like a big ship and you're getting attacked and you have to escort it or something like that, which would be quite cool. And then they had John Boyega come on video, basically talking about how Finn and Captain Phasma are going to be added later on as free content. So it seems they're going to be adding free content in the form of characters and stuff like that. Maybe maps will still be DLC, but I think in terms of maybe weapons and characters, they're going to just be free content, which is kind of dripped in over time, which is quite cool. You get extra stuff without having to pay stuff, and there is a beta at the end of the year. So then that was basically it. A very quick fire thing. They then had about half an hour of Battlefront 2 gameplay they showed off, and at that point it was over. It was quite weird. They didn't really have like a "oh, thanks for coming." It just kind of ended, and they had gameplay for like half an hour, like people just playing it live on stage, and it just kind of ended. It was really weird, but it was enjoyable. Notable things, this A Way Out looks very interesting. Need for Speed looks kind of interesting, and I'm really intrigued by whatever this BioWare game is. And Battlefront 2, of course, looks good. It looks like a solid experience, what it should have been originally. So Bethesda is next. That is going to be in the early hours of the morning. I will possibly get it out maybe tomorrow night, if not Tuesday. We'll see, depending. Basically, I'll get back from work, I'll watch the stream, and I'll kind of see about making notes and maybe starting to record it and get out the next day, possibly. We'll see. And then they'll have all the rest. We've got Sony, Microsoft, Ubisoft, and Nintendo, all in one go pretty much, aren't they, on the Monday night? So then I'll kind of do them as I can during the week. So thank you for joining me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little quick fire summary of EA's E3 press conference, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.